You may have realized that being healthy feels different than it did in the past now that you're over 50. If you want to maximize your health potential but don't have time to read through overwhelming pages of Google links, this is the show for you. Welcome to Healthy Tips After 50. We love doing the research, finding solutions, talking to health experts, and learning what works and what doesn't. Now, your host. She spent the last 25 years dedicated to feeling her best and is here to share her best findings with you, Susan Rosen.
Hi everyone, this is Susan Rosen, your host. Today I'm going to go back to something I've done a couple of times before, and that is to talk about three different subjects. Two of them are kind of short and one of them is a little bit longer. And they all, well, not all, two out of the three have something that's related to the holiday season and what we're eating. So I thought it might be applicable and might be interesting. The first thing I'm going to talk about is cranberries. And we all know that cranberries are something that we eat around Thanksgiving and then also around Christmas. And they talk about it here, but you know, thinking about it, there are so many other things that we can do with cranberries. We really ought to be eating them all year long. There are so many good things and good nutrients that are in cranberries. So first off, let me say that the cranberry is a berry that grows on a trailing vine, which I thought was interesting. So that includes the American cranberry, which is what mostly we eat, the lingonberry, and the red huckleberry. And the U.S. produces 98% of the world's cranberries. And it turns out that only 5% of that is sold fresh. I can kind of understand that only because I'm not sure people know how to cook cranberries. So it was interesting to see that the amount of vitamin C and fiber that cranberries have are really high for something like that, you know, for these little round things. So the other thing that they have are phytochemicals, which are plant chemicals, and they're found in a lot of different fruits and different plants. So they have, let's see, anthocyanins, procyanins, and flavanols. And all three of those have been associated with cancer prevention, which I know we're all probably interested in, as well as cardiovascular health, digestive health, and urinary tract health, which I think most women know about drinking cranberry juice when they start thinking that they might have what's called a UTI, urinary tract infection. There are also, let's see, I see, okay, I had it in my notes. It's the proanthocyanidins, I can't pronounce that correctly, but in cranberries that helps get the harmful bacteria to stop adhering to the urinary tract wall and therefore gets it out of your system. So one of the things here that I had no idea about is that when the Pilgrims, you know, the white guys that got here when all the Native Americans were already here. So anyways, the Pilgrims started eating cranberries when they got to here, to America, because they found that it helped with scurvy and kept them from getting scurvy. They also, the Native Americans used to use ground cranberries to fight wound infections. So again, you can see where this little berry has a lot of uses, and over the centuries has been used and found to help a lot of people that are out there. Okay, so just few other things about cranberries is that they are available fresh from October through December. Obviously, you can get the frozen ones and the canned ones and cranberry juice any time of the year. In this article that I was reading, they say that fresh berries should be firm, plump, and brightly colored with no brown spots. Okay, that makes sense. That they will last up to 2 months refrigerated, and they also freeze well. That's good to know, isn't it? They also said that it's very easy to make your own cranberry sauce with water, a little bit of sweetener, and a little citrus zest. And they suggest stirring it into hot oatmeal, wild rice, or other whole grain side dish, or of course into sweet cookies, tarts, and muffins, which I think we've all seen. Cranberry muffins are one of my favorites. They also give a recipe for walnut cranberry granola bars, and if anyone would like me to send that to them, be sure and either leave me a comment on my website or send me an email at susan@healthytipsafter50.com. So the second berry I'm going to talk about is a blueberry, which we all know, or we should know, is linked to a lot of really good vitamins and good health. But it turns out that they have actually done, there is a collection of studies which shows that regular consumption of blueberries may, and they always say that may, contribute to healthy aging with cardiovascular and cognitive benefits. Their suggestion is to eat 1 cup of blueberries a day, that can improve blood vessel function and also lower the systolic blood pressure due to the anthocyanins, which I just mentioned earlier with the cranberries, which is one of the phytochemicals responsible for the blueberry's color. There are some other studies that have been done that associate blueberries' powerful plant compounds to improved performance on memory tests. And they also say that there's some new studies coming up that show that blueberries may actually preserve intact cognitive function and even reverse some age-related cognitive issues. So that's really good. I guess I already eat a lot of blueberries, but maybe I need to start eating even more. I am up close to a cup though, maybe, not quite. Maybe I'll go up, add a little more every day. The third one, which doesn't really have anything to do with the holidays, blueberries at least you could make for your dessert for your Christmas dinner, so the third item is about vitamin A. And they have found that vitamin A may reduce skin cancer risk. So they say that eating a healthy diet higher in vitamin A foods can lower the risk of skin cancer. And there's a Brown University study that was done that came up with this. They analyzed data from 2 large long-term observational studies of men and women, many of whom were white, primarily because they have a higher risk of developing skin cancer. Researchers found that people with the highest average daily vitamin A, which was essentially the amount of vitamin A that's in a medium sweet potato or 2 large carrots a day. You would start to turn orange, I think, after 2 large carrots a day. That seems like an awful lot. Anyways, the highest average daily vitamin A intake was 17%. All of those people who had the highest were 17% less likely to get skin cancer than those with the lowest intake, which is very interesting. That's quite a large, well, 17% is a lot, I think, for a lot of these studies. Most of the participants' vitamin A came from fruits and vegetables rather than supplements or animal-based foods. So that's a good caveat to this whole thing. And that is, I think, about it for today. It's going to be a short podcast. And I will see what I can do about finding some good things for the next couple of podcasts as well. I thought this was kind of interesting, personally. Remember that I am not a doctor. This is not medical advice and should not be taken as if it is. And please leave me a comment. Send me whatever your thoughts are about the podcast. Let me know if there's anything you'd like me to follow up on or do a podcast about. You can tell me either, as I said before, on my website, or you can go to my Facebook page, either mine, Susan Rosen, or the Healthy Tips After 50 page. And that, I think, is going to be it for today. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving weekend. And we are going to start our week again tomorrow. Or actually, I guess it's today. That's when the podcast will go up. That's it. And I will look forward to talking to you all next week.
This has been Healthy Tips After 50 with Susan Rosen. To stay on the cutting edge of the most effective health strategies, subscribe to this podcast and let us know what you thought of the show with a comment or like on iTunes. Visit healthytipsafter50.com for this episode's show notes, more resources, and free offers.